Okay, I'm just going to do a quick demonstration for Jason Mativi so he's got a better understanding of what our infrastructure in the wall is. There's nothing that can damage the equipment that you've got on either end, either the monitor or like the electron microscope or the PC or anything that's connected to this won't matter. This is just passing HDMI. So right now I've got a Macintosh computer. It's coming straight up into this input right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with the existing infrastructure that we have in that particular room right now. This is the older version of what was just in Nancy's lab. The last change that we made a few weeks ago was to replace this plate that had the VGA, because no one uses VGA anymore, with a dual plate that's got HDMI on it. So you can see this is just a module that converts HDMI to Ethernet. And then that Ethernet travels along the line to a receiving box, and the receiving box brings it back out in HDMI again. So I'm going to take this is the output from this. I'm going to disconnect the Mac that's connected to that now, and then I'm just simply replacing it. So this module is just going to act like a cable. That's all it's going to do. Now I plug this in here. As soon as I get that plugged in, which was exceedingly difficult with one hand, that Mac that's in there will make that light turn green. It's establishing communications, and now it's up on the wall. And that's it. So this basically consists of a transmitter, which is connected via Ethernet. It's called DTP. And then this receiver unit, which it receives via this connector here, which also supplies PoE to this module. This has a hidden power module, which is basically just a 12-volt brick. And this 12-volt brick sits behind the monitor in the room. So this and this would be behind the monitor in the room. This goes down through the wall. And that's why we use these, is because sometimes you might have a monitor way over there and you might have a jack that's over here. This is the best way to transmit that without having long runs of HDMI, which can, you'll run into line doubling and all sorts of issues right there. So that's the system in a nutshell. I'm going to give you this because this is one of the older ones. We don't use this anymore, and it'll just give you something to experiment. You can try this out on your own. But this won't be able to damage any of the equipment that you've got connected to it. It is just HDMI. So depending on what you're putting into it, like if you're seeing a mouse on the screen and it's just black, you probably got an extended desktop. So that's not a fault of the equipment. That would be just a setting that you've got on the local computer. The problem that we're having down in that lab right now, where it's brought down to the 720 resolution, we believe that is a programming issue in the module. That's something that the vendor's going to have to take a look at. But all that does is that keeps it from passing full resolution. It's knocking it down to 720, which still shouldn't affect anything but the screen resolution that goes up on the wall. So like I said, I'm going to give you this unit, and then you'll be able to experiment with that, and you can see that this is completely safe. The only changes that were made in that room is this module was swapped out, and it probably just didn't get 100% programmed.